And we are back for another episode of Bell to Bell, brought to you by jackpotcity.ca. Go play some slots, free spins, big wins. I am here, obviously, with none other than RV, Rain City Toys, and we got to talk a lot about some WWE stuff that's been going down. Later in this show, I have an interview with TNA's AJ Francis, so make sure you guys stick around to listen to AJ Francis state his claim in TNA. But what's going on, brother? How are we doing post-Super Bowl?
Post-Super Bowl, I don't know. Did you... you're not a big football guy, are you?
No, not really. What do you mean? I posted a picture in a Seahawks beanie.
Seahawks, right?
What are you talking about?
Everything.
I'm asking AJ about the Seahawks. He played for the team. I'm all about it. Don't worry about it.
It was all right. It wasn't the most exciting Super Bowl. A lot of people canceled Super Bowl parties, weren't really doing much, staying home, but did the usual, went to buddy's house, watched the game, didn't really watch the game, just shot our shit, and that was it. And went to go eat.
Coming around the corner is professional wrestling Super Bowl.
Yes, it is.
That was the football fans Super Bowl. Here comes the real Super Bowl, WrestleMania, and a lot of things started shaping up last night on Monday Night Raw. There's been a lot of talks about the way they're making their creative plans, the reports on, Triple H's booking and not having plans. There was a theory that in the early days, Vince would plan WrestleMania a year out. He knew exactly where he's going. Obviously, in later years, we know Vince also would kind of shake things up with Bryan in the main event or Kofi Mania or whatever the fans are wanting at that point. How do you feel about the build to WrestleMania thus far?
It's pretty clear. We know we're getting Punk and Roman. I'm totally happy with that. I don't care what happens on Saturday. The main event on Sunday is going to be a big deal. We know there's going to be a chamber match, obviously, for the other title. I'm just kind of surprised, shocked that they've got Raw, I guess, superstars competing. I thought it'd be more of a SmackDown kind of thing. Get those guys on there and let the guys know, but I guess you can flip-flop wherever and go wrestle wherever you want. So, but I'm looking forward to the chamber. It looks like they're going to have some big stars on there, which is nice. So Jay Uso got put into there, and then, that's all I really know, and that's all I really care about right now.
Can we talk about it from a fan perspective?
Yeah, Liv as well.
Yeah, Liv's going to be challenging for a title. There just seems to be a lot of WrestleMania doesn't seem set. And I know there's been injuries with Seth and now Braun. We don't know exactly how long he's going to be out. We'll talk about that in a minute. But does it just feel like WrestleMania is kind of up in the air? Even Punk and Roman, before that, Roman made his decision. Before Roman even won the Royal Rumble, we didn't have any idea. It was hard to predict what this WrestleMania is going to be.
No, because if you've been... you have been following for the last few years, but I feel after the Rumble, nothing really gets set except for that 1 or 2 matches, the main event. Everything happens after Elimination Chamber. It feels like after Elimination Chamber, they do this crazy, fast speed build-up of trying to build up a rivalry in a month. So I'm kind of getting used to that. Okay, from now to Chamber, it's not going to be much. Everything's kind of a filler. And then after Chamber is when they start... we've seen WrestleMania guys set up a week before, right?
Yeah, I know it might be an unpopular take, but I've talked about it a ton where I'm some of my favorite WrestleManias ended up having the worst build-up. WrestleMania 31 in Santa Clara when, Seth cashed in, that Mania had a really bad build-up, and then the Mania was really good. So that is the case, but I think what people online, I know you're not religiously online as much as I am, but a lot of people are talking about the fact that Triple H's booking kind of feels very it's very just going back to the well too many times. Let's go to Roman, let's go to Punk.
Aren't these the same people that were jumping on the Triple H bandwagon when he took over? And how greedy he is, and how amazing he was, greatest booker of all time. Finally, Vince is gone.
Yeah, okay, fair. That's your opinion. So let me ask you this: and do you feel like Triple H's booking is still different and better than late era Vince McMahon booking?
I think it's pretty similar, to be honest.
You think it's similar?
Yeah, because I don't think people are looking at the business numbers at the end. Who draws? Who's making the money? Right? It's those main guys, and that's what Vince understood. And Triple H, I think, is starting to get that. I'm not sure. I'm not saying he didn't have that before, but Punk's going to draw, Roman's going to draw, Brock's going to draw. Maybe Seth will draw. It is what it is. We think about it. We have a casual friend going to Mania because he wants to watch Punk and Roman. He's like, okay, I know those guys. So
we've talked about it on here too, that WrestleMania kind of sells itself at this point. Listen, the Super Bowl wasn't that great. I was down to go do media and be at the Super Bowl just to be at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, of
I
course.
think WrestleMania's got to that point as well, where it's like it doesn't really matter what creatively is happening. Maybe to the hardcore fan that's like wants to know everything, but like it doesn't really matter because it was WrestleMania. People are going to be there. People will be in town. It's going to be an exciting time. To go back to what you're saying though, I do think Triple H is still a better booker than Vince McMahon, and also like Triple H has been fully kind of in charge since 2022. I'd say. So
give me an example. Like? How's he a better booker? Give me an example.
There's been consistent long-term stories that play. Like Roman is still the character was. I just think Vince did really great in the 80s, in the 90s, but like 2007 to 2010 was weird. 2019 was the weirdest, confusing year in the world. So when I look at those specific periods of Vince's booking, and maybe when Triple H books for like 10, 15 years, he'll also have some periods where we're like, but just because we're saying, is Triple H's booking better than late stages Vince McMahon booking? I think it still is. It hasn't gotten as wacky. They're not putting dog food on Roman Reigns. People aren't having Jim Ross's head come out of Vince McMahon's head come out of, or Jim Ross's head come out of Jim Ross's ass. Like there's not weird.
Back, don't you miss that stuff now? Don't you miss that?
No, there was a.
I love
how many times we talk about like 2007 to 2011 was the years I kind of fell out of WWE. I watched Raw because it was Mondays. I missed SmackDown, Movie Fridays. I watched a lot of TNA during those years because the booking was just, they went PG and it got weird. And I think technically WWE is still PG. It is like, but there's still a little edge to it. It is still, there's a little edge to it. It still feels cool. And as much as I consider and complain that they rely on the stars, and I think that's what Triple H is doing. He's relying on the stars. He's relying on Roman. He's relying on Punk. He's relying on Cody. He's relying on Drew. I still don't have any like, I got to tune into Raw feeling, as I say I did in 2018-19, you know? Like,
well, I think
I gotta cover Raw. Let me go watch this.
A big.
Do you remember that weird period, Tom? Do you remember that weird period where Vince? So I never get tripped. I just remember this. Where he tried to make matches 2 out of 3 falls, so they didn't wrestle through the commercial breaks. Like he was doing some crazy shit at the end.
I know. I was gonna say, I think another thing that's really got people talking, and it does suck, and I mean, I'm not a big fan of it. We've already talked about it. Is the whole Unreal show. Because if you can see the background of it and, you know, you see the whiteboard, oh, Kevin Owens is going to win the title and whatnot. It's unfair to, I guess, do something for the whole year and then look back and be like, well, I think I liked option B better when option B was never the plan. It's just the hypotheticals. Yeah. And because it showed the whiteboard in the back with all the other different names, they're like, oh, you know what? Maybe that would have been better. Triple H sucks. He never followed through with that. So I think Unreal definitely ruined a lot of his
and it's showing. And I think what the one thing Unreal did a lot, we see a lot of people making skits about it and mocking it, is that it showed us the inside of the creators room, the amount that they want to show us, and especially season 2 did not give us a good showcase. So like how many people make skits and Road Dogg gives an idea and then just goes, I don't know. It's like so common on social media now. Like they kind of showed, and I think you're right, that does cause more of a people thinking like, oh, he's not doing that great, we could do better. And then it could, everything could always be better, and sometimes we always want what we didn't get, and we think that would have been better than what we did get.
It's the whole John Cena thing, man. It's a John Cena thing is what I think upset a lot of people, right? That the fact that Triple H isn't a big book or a good booker, and we don't know the true story. We don't know if The Rock just bailed and was like, the hell with you guys, or if Triple H wanted it to go down this way. We don't know, right? Who had full power to make those decisions on what.
And to your point, there might be some more people. There might be more cooks in the kitchen, right? Like with Vince, Vince was final say, and mostly everybody agreed with that. Here, Triple H might start to take a little bit of input from Nick Khan, a little bit of input from Ariel, from TKO, a little bit of input from The Rock sometimes. Yeah. And he's probably a little bit more like Vince in his early days, progressive and taking ideas from the talent and seeing what might and might not work. It might be more of a team effort now, and that might be the biggest difference, that we're not really.
This is what we're going to do. We'll judge Triple H as a booker after Mania, and if Mania doesn't go well, then we'll judge him after SummerSlam. If SummerSlam doesn't go well, we'll judge him after Survivor.
I mean, we're going to be judging him every few months, I feel like, on the show.
So we're just going to repeat the process, right? Until we like a pay-per-view and say it was the greatest pay-per-view of all time, or finally they did something that the fans wanted, right? People, until the complainers get what they want online, I guess.
Yeah. And then sometimes things don't go as planned. Like we said, Seth was injured and he might be the masked man. We don't know.
Yeah, now Braun's injured. What are you supposed to do?
Now
Right?
Braun's injured. That's what I was getting to. How do you feel like this Braun injury kind of affects WrestleMania plans and also like the vision? They were on a reign of terror. Braun was kind of like, I'm not, no disrespect to Bronson Reed, Logan, and Austin, but Braun was like the guy of the vision right now. How do you think this changes WrestleMania plans?
Obviously, it sucks that Braun's being hurt, but it kind of lets other guys now step up. Now, I think it's time for Bronson Reed. You can showcase him a little bit. So if Bron Breakker is going to be out for a while, I love Bronson Reed. You know, I love the big guys. And I think Bronson Reed can be a main event world champion, right? So I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm not okay with it. Obviously, I don't want Braun to be injured, but it's fine. The other guys can shine. Maybe we get more of Logan Paul, build on that character more. Austin Theory can finally get the limelight, right? Because he was still the fifth man in that group, right? If you want to include Paul Heyman. No one cared. Maybe people care about Austin Theory right now. But again, it was going to be a mid-card match, you know, with the Seth and Braun. And on Mania, like I said, man, I'm going for the main event. So everything else to me is a bit of a filler, and it is what it is. Injuries happen.
To your point, the vision without Seth Rollins, because when Seth Rollins was there, obviously he was visually the leader, but the vision right now is similar to the Judgment Day, where there isn't like a defined leader, right? Like you kind of pick and choose who's kind of running the show at the moment, and it was Braun. I think on Raw we saw moments where it seemed like, okay, now Bronson Reed stepped up. Like he was kind of calling the shots when Logan got into Adam Pearce's face. Braun's like, no, Bronson kind of pushed him away. Like, yeah, sure, we'll deal with this later type of thing. Which maybe right, maybe Bronson Reed is the one that's going to step up. And I actually like that because I don't want people to forget that Bronson Reed like has victories over Roman Reigns. Like let's not take that lightly. Like he's one of the original
and people are forgetting
members.
that, right? People are forgetting that. Like everyone's so focused on Bron Breakker that people are forgetting how powerful Bronson Reed is, right? And I'd be okay with him getting into the chamber match. I think that'd be great if somehow he qualifies for the chamber.
And I'm kind of intrigued to see how it plays out for the rest of the division, because I think on paper we kind of sat in and we predicted it would be, okay, Bron Breakker versus Seth, or Bron Breakker would have some sort of big match. I was actually down with even having Bron Breakker versus Punk for the title, or Bron Breakker versus Roman Reigns to kind of give him that rub. But where do we see like the Logan Paul, the Austin Theory, and the Bronson Reed kind of positioning now? Because I don't think like that's what comes back to the Triple H booking thing. Like we don't really, it's hard to predict this card.
It is. I think this is a perfect setup. I know the Usos made out that challenge. Man, let Austin Theory and Logan Paul go for the tag titles, right? I think them being
the Usos, they don't have a challenger.
Let them go for the tag titles. Imagine them being in that picture. It sets up Austin Theory and Logan Paul really well, right? Because Logan Paul right now, he just seems to get into matches and not really win anything, right? Because you just expect Logan to lose. And he's really good at fighting the top guys, but we know he's really not going to beat any of them. So give him the tag titles, like let him cheat a little bit, him and Austin Theory, to retain them and go on a bit of a long run. And who knows, maybe Bronson can win the IC title from Dom. And again, you know me, I'm biased towards that. When I see a faction, I want the faction to have every title.
That's and it happens a lot. Yeah. It's not uncommon. I'm so leaning towards Finn and Dom. I just think that might end up being the match for WrestleMania. But we'll talk about Finn in a second, because you did bring up Logan Paul. And I want to bring up also a lot of, I don't know if it's fantasy booking. I don't know if it's because all the Super Bowl hoopla and everything.
You're not going to bring up his tweet about his brother, are you?
No, the kind of, but not directly, is what a lot of people, and I don't know what either person's schedule looks like, especially Bad Bunny's, but a lot of people are saying, yo, book Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Like that's your match. Two of your best. I don't consider Logan Paul. I did an article years ago, best celebrity wrestlers, and Logan Paul and Bad Bunny were 1 and 2. I kind of think Logan Paul is just a wrestler now. Like I don't look at him as like a celebrity wrestler. Anymore, he's a part of the crew. Like he is one of the boys. He's a wrestler. I'm not saying that Bad Bunny isn't or whatnot, but like, you know, he's a celebrity that comes in that everyone respects and appreciates.
It's unbelievable to think though what he's done, from a YouTuber, to be a YouTuber personality, become a wrestler, and his transition was so smooth into the ring. Like it did not even feel like, you know, he was a rookie.
You know, everybody hated Logan Paul, and I know the stuff that happened in Japan and stuff, but everyone hated on the Paul brothers and whatnot, and I was too old to really ever watch any of their content. I wasn't the target audience.
Yeah.
I always knew who they were, so I knew like the internet hated them, but I was just like, I don't know them. I don't care about them,
Yeah.
but I respect their hustle
Yeah,
and
yeah,
what
of
they
course.
created, because that's so cool. And until this day, like Jake, I've learned now a lot of reasons why people don't like Jake Paul, and I learned stories about now why people don't like Logan Paul, but he was just an automatic heel because he came in, there people already disliking him. He's doing a great job. There was a point where they teased him being a babyface before he joined the Vision. Do you remember that, where he was about to help Punk? And I'm like, this is weird. We don't like this guy. I don't want him to be a babyface.
Yeah.
He's a perfect heel. And but yeah, going back to my question, what do you think about Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania as an
I
attraction
think
match?
Bad Bunny wrestling someone like a Logan Paul to superstar, I guess. What's the word that I'm looking for? Celebrities online or whatever you want to call them. I would tune in for that. I think a lot of people now, after watching the Super Bowl halftime show, surprisingly, a lot of people had no idea who Bad Bunny was. Even the guys I watched it with, I mean, I'd explain to them, like, he's a global star. They're like, no, he's not. Like, he's just a whatever rapper. And then people started looking him up. It was like, holy shit, he's the #1 most scream artist in the world. They're like, oh, okay, like this makes sense. Because people were like upset as well. They're like, oh, we wanted this rapper, we wanted this person on there. So a lot of people really didn't even follow Bad Bunny knowing what he was doing. So I think now that the fact people are aware of Bad Bunny, and I think he broke Super Bowl records of how many people tuned in. I think it'd be great for Mania. I think people, could you imagine how many people would tune in? If ticket sales aren't going as well, Bad Bunny is the solution right now.
Yeah. And yeah, going back to the tweet, like obviously Jake Paul says some negative things about the halftime show where Logan was like, no, Puerto Ricans are Americans, et cetera, et cetera. And even Damian Priest started being like, thank you for that, this and that. Like there's a story to tell there.
Isn't that awkward now, eh? Jake Paul.
I'm pretty sure Logan Paul was like banned from Puerto Rico or something at one point. Don't quote me on that. Look it up.
Okay.
Like there's a story already built in there. There's a story already built in there. And I think it would be cool. Really quickly, last note on Bron before I move on to Finn and that stuff. If Bron isn't, because historically in wrestling, wrestlers are more concerned about their spot and what they're doing than really getting better all the time. Is it okay for them to hold off on Bron if he's not 100% by WrestleMania?
Absolutely. There's no rush. He's young. You've got SummerSlam coming up. You've got Money in the Bank coming up. You got a whole year. You don't need to rush anything with this guy, right? If he's not healthy, you can find ways for him to be involved in the match, right?
Yeah.
There's ways that he can show up at Mania and do something. I'm okay with that. Like for me, it's not a deal breaker if this guy's not on the card at WrestleMania, because it's understandable. Seth, he's missed many Manias, and you just
Orton's missed Manias, Batista's missed Manias, Cena's missed Manias. It happens.
The day of Mania or the week or 2 weeks prior to Mania, you just forget about it. Because the storyline they're building, the matches are being built up, right? So I don't mind that. Well, would you care? But if you missed it, do you want him to?
I just want, if he wasn't 100% healthy, no. I think take care of yourself, come back better and stronger. Don't risk it for a Mania spot or a payday just because it's a big deal. It is a big deal, but like I just overall any talent, I'd just rather them be 100% healthy.
Well, you think Seth is going to be back before? Or as
long as he's 100% healthy, he seems pretty good. He's been doing all this media. He's on all these shows. He seems to be doing all right. I hope Seth might be the masked man. I think even if it's Seth versus Bronson Reed or Austin Theory in replacement for Bron Breakker, like I'm okay with it, right? Like
I think what's the word here? My opinion, who I think is the masked man now.
Who?
Angel Garza.
What? People started.
Messiah Group
way back in the day in 2020 during the Vince McMahon years. Actually, another Vic McMahon booking period that we would like to forget. We tried watching some of it the other day with the no fans.
Before I make that decision final that I think it's Angel Garza, he's still with the WWE, right?
I believe it. Yeah.
He didn't get released, right?
Him and Humberto are still. Okay, they've been working stuff on
Angel Garza.
Yeah, they've been working triple A stuff.
Angel Garza for sure. That's my prediction. Angel Garza.
A popular prediction has been Grayson Waller, which we haven't seen the New Day on TV since the last tag title shot.
Mhm.
He wasn't really important to their group. He was funny with them, but
Yeah.
you know, maybe he wants some retribution on Austin Theory, but then that still doesn't answer why they attacked Braun's Rumble. So I don't know.
Yeah, the fact that Austin Theory got now hit as well, it does suck too, because then the speculation is gone to it. Oh, maybe it was Seth helping Austin Theory's inside man. Seth's coming back to do all that. I actually would have preferred that, where Austin Theory would have been like the last man to get hit. I think Bronson should have gone next. Then Logan should have gone next. And Austin Theory, we would have thought, oh shit, this is Austin's inside job. And then he gets hit and we're like, what the hell, right? Should change it.
It did suck because we thought it was an inside job at the Rumble. And then I remember when I texted you before you got home to watch Raw, you're like, yo, what happened? Just give me like what happened in the main event. I'm like, oh, this happened. You're like, oh, Logan and Bronson were out there too. I'm like, yeah, that does kind of suck. Because it takes away the idea that it was one of them, right? All three of them were out there. And it definitely wasn't Paul Heyman. He was standing there like this. WrestleMania season is upon us, but Triple H's booking is still up in the air. The card is not set.
And when the booking's unpredictable, you know what that means? We're going to play some slots on jackpotcity.ca.
And here's the challenge. I'm going to hit 6 spins. If I get a spin right, then I get to make a prediction. If I don't win any money in the 6 spins, then you get to make a prediction of something we think is completely going to change for the WrestleMania card this year. So here we go. Spin number 1.
All right, let's go. No pandas.
Spin number 2. Let's get this.
Pandas are mad at me.
So close. Spin number 3.
No.
Spin number 4. This one looks like it's doing something. Give me another great.
This doesn't count.
Another close panda. Spin number 5.
No panda.
Give me a panda. Spin number 6.
All right, no panda.
All right, RV, what is your prediction of what you think is going to happen at WrestleMania that can completely change the park?
Unpopular opinion, we are going to see CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus a demon Finn Balor in a triple threat match at WrestleMania for the world title. I'm going to live by that because they got to get Finn in the title picture. He's beaten Roman before. He almost beat him again. He can beat CM Punk. We know he can beat CM Punk even though he hasn't recently. So I'm taking a triple threat match at WrestleMania. It changes.
You're just dying on that hill. Guys, head over to jackpotcity.ca. Play some slots. Just as much chaos as WrestleMania. Play like a champ. Win like a champion. Elimination Chamber is shaping up. Chicago Elimination Chamber coming up at the end of this month. We will be there.
Yeah, we'll be attending.
So if you see us, say what's up. We'll be doing some stuff with On Location. So check out On Location, exp.com. But it's shaping up. So far in the men's side, Randy Orton and LA Knight have advanced to the Elimination Chamber. Gunther talked about his match next week. On the women's side, I don't remember off the top of my head. Rhea advanced. And somebody on SmackDown.
Tiffany. I think Tiffany's in there.
Tiffany and Rhea have advanced. Stacked. Both of them are stacked. So we're 2 former world champions.
This is going to be a good chamber match. I mean, both men's and women's. Now, obviously, we saw that segment with Punk and Finn getting their title shot. Any percentage that Finn Balor actually dethrones CM Punk and wins the world title in Chicago?
No. I think the build last week for Roman and Punk was so good. And it sucks that it feels that Finn's just kind of a filler right now till we get there, just someone to feed to. Because at the end of the day, I do want to see Finn win the belt. When Seth had that really long reign when he first won this belt and he wrestled Finn, I want to see Finn win the belt. In the midst of the bloodline situation, even though we didn't know how big it was going to get at that point, I wanted Demon Finn to be Roman Reigns. I would just want him to have another world title reign that's meaningful on the main roster. I just don't think it's happening at Chamber. I think it's going to be a hot crowd. I think the writings on the wall for Roman versus Punk, they've already set it up where like it feels personal. This just seems like a thing Punk has to get through to get to Mania.
Well, now this is where I'm confused because you've got Finn as, acting as like the third man to World Championship with Punk. Yeah, so whoever wins that Chamber is going to go face Drew McIntyre, the World Champion. Yeah. Or at least a SmackDown champion, the Universal champion, right? The undisputed Universal, whatever name they've given it now.
The undisputed title, the WWE Championship. Yeah. It literally is just the WWE Championship.
I know, right? So that winner is going to face Drew McIntyre. So I know we've got the storyline with Jacob, Cody, and Drew happening. But now what if, whoever wins the title or the chamber match there is going to go one-on-one with Drew, and maybe Finn, Punk, and Roman is a triple threat match that we get?
I don't think it's going to be a triple threat. First thing I just really quickly want to say on Drew, like, great rebuttal promo to Roman and Punk, talking about he's the champion that matters and, you know, all that stuff. I think
right?
he did a great job. Yeah, he did a great job. Obviously, he had to do it solo. It was 2 guys against 1 in a weird way, but he did a great job. That being said, I think they teased it a little bit yesterday again, and I'm just gonna keep riding on the Judgment Day is gonna implode this year. You know, Dom going up to Finn, being like, "Hey man, like, you know, JD's gonna be back soon. You guys go after the tag titles," and Finn kind of be like, "What do you mean? You don't think I can go after the world titles?" And you know, even Dom's like, you know, like Punk and Roman, like kind of set in stone. They're kind of doing the thing everyone's talking about. And Finn's like, "You think I'm an afterthought?" I think, and it's not going to be as special as Finn winning the world title, but Dom's held that Intercontinental title for a minute now since he won it back from Cena. Like, I think Mania is going to be Finn getting that moment, winning the Intercontinental title from Dom. Dom doesn't lose anything. But also Finn, like, you've been an Intercontinental champion. That's not the belt we want you to have. But at least it's a moment. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe Dom comes and somehow spoils Finn's victory again. And
yeah, maybe they try to help him and it backfires. The same thing that's happening with Liv and Raquel. It's going to end up being Raquel and Finn versus Dom and Liv post WrestleMania.
Yeah, at the Backlash, WrestleMania Backlash, right? See, that's why I miss Vince, man. Vince had these crazy ideas, right? You never know. You know, we're never going to...
It just needs to be Backlash. It doesn't need to be WrestleMania.
No, it needs to be called WrestleMania Backlash. And you know what we're never going to see again? We're probably never going to see it online. So a TV marriage again on Raw. 2 people and, you know, 2 couples breaking up and having affairs online, right? And then on SmackDown, someone's getting them married and someone crashes the wedding. I miss that, man. I miss Vince.
We haven't had a wedding in the Triple H era yet. You're right. Vince was doing weddings since Uncle Elmer in the 80s.
I don't think Triple H is going to give us any of those.
Let me ask you this then, right? Do you feel, and I know Punk had a really fired up promo about being a fighting champion and that he wants to fight Finn because he wants to prove to everybody he's the best in the world and he doesn't care if he has a match with Roman. He'll wrestle Finn first in Chicago. Do you think there's a risk of overexposing Punk? And my biggest concern is there a risk of Punk getting hurt before WrestleMania and ruining the main event with Roman Reigns? How do you feel about that?
I mean, that's a risk with any wrestler, right? So Punk wrestling every week, yes, the risk is very high because this man either hurts his elbow, his shoulder, and it's not even his fault. This guy's putting a lot of mileage, right, in the ring. But I think it's fine. I think he needs to tune up. I think he can use a warm-up for WrestleMania. And again, Finn, I wouldn't be concerned with Finn because we know he's a great competitor. He's probably going to take care of Punk in the ring as well anyway, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think they'll do whatever it takes to protect themselves going into WrestleMania. Yeah. Nobody on the road to WrestleMania is trying to get hurt on the road to WrestleMania.
No, of course not. Yeah, exactly. Right?
But are you worried? A little bit. I'm always a little bit worried. I mean, considering the way his AEW run went and the fact that he came back to WWE and like in his first Rumble match got hurt, like and I do think it's not his fault. It's also an age thing, but it's also like we are in the era where they're not doing regular house shows. They're not they're not doing the movements as much as they were back in the day. So that's where we see a lot more injuries because people are wrestling less and the bodies get cold and they wrestle and then they get hurt. And this is not a me theory. This is theories I've heard from other wrestlers that I've interviewed. And people talk about time. Like the only thing they miss about house shows is practicing the matches they end up having on TV. And also like just being in that constant motion of wrestling motion and not taking like a week off, coming back to wrestle one match. Think about it. Sometimes some of these wrestlers come to TV and they don't even wrestle. They just cut a promo for that show and then they don't wrestle for 2-3 weeks. You know, so it's like, that's where I get concerned. Right? It has nothing of anyone's health or fitness or how talented they are or how good they are. It's just, I think wrestling's in a stage where people are getting hurt more because of the lack of house shows and regular events, that it does worry me just a little bit. Because the one thing about them too is they're going to want to give us, they're going to try to wrestle a safe match, but they're going to want to give us a good match. And giving us a good match means 2 or 3 spots that might be a little risky. Like,
of course, I mean, he didn't do it on purpose. I just think a lot of the Punk injuries were just freak accidents. So I'm not too worried. Sometimes
that's what I'm trying to say though. Most are more freak accidents, which means it can happen at any time.
The guy can walk down the street and fall and break his ankle. We don't know, right? So we're not gonna tie CM Punk into a hotel room and be like, all right, dude, you're not leaving till Mania. That's not gonna happen. Or just
he can't do the Roman Reigns schedule. Just don't wrestle till Mania. Come cut promos March 2nd. They drop Roman schedule. It become weird. He's gonna show up now.
All right, it's I'm okay with him wrestling, and I'm sure you are too. You get to see him in Chicago, 100%. In his hometown 100%. At Chamber, right? So I know you're excited for that.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen Punk in Chicago.
There you go. First time for everything.
Oh, wow.
I don't think I've ever seen Punk. No, I was gonna say I've never seen Punk wrestle, but no, I just saw him.
You saw him wrestle Gunther, but you're more newer to going to shows. I've gone to a lot of shows. I've seen I've seen Punk wrestle a ton. I just have never actually seen him wrestle in Chicago.
Am I gonna be the only guy not cheering for Punk in Chicago?
No, there's gonna be some Finn fans there for sure. Considering who his opponent is, there's definitely gonna be a few Finn fans. It's like when you go to a hockey game and there's always like that one jackass wearing the Boston jersey, or the Chicago jersey.
I'm gonna go Demon Finn. I'm gonna put on the face paint and everything.
Yeah. You know what you are really excited to see, talking about Elimination Chamber before we move on, is our girl AJ Lee, the legend.
I thought you were going to say Nia Jax. I was actually getting excited. I hope she gets into the chamber. I think she will. I think she'll get into the chamber.
Our girl, the legend, the revolutionary that you totally missed her run, AJ Lee.
I didn't know she's like the Roman Reigns of women's wrestling right now.
Just beloved in wrestling that you don't understand. But you don't understand why she has legendary status. But AJ Lee is getting an Intercontinental Championship shot against Becky Lynch, which is interesting the way they did it, where like Becky saw them backstage, and I thought that was a really funny thing because like they've been doing a lot of these backstage walking segments, but to see it lead into a story of Becky was like crashing out, walking behind them was great. Comes out there, cuts a promo. AJ comes out pretty quickly, and it pretty much was like, what do I have to do to get rid of you? Like, do I need to beat you? Like in a singles match, is that what you want? Like, I'll beat you. Which it's always interesting to me. It happens in all wrestling these days where like the heel initiates the match, where you're so used to the heels trying to run away from the match.
Yeah, be scared of it. I don't want it, right?
Yeah. Whereas Becky initiated the match, no, I'll wrestle you. But what Becky didn't initiate was a title shot, where then AJ was like, I don't want to wrestle you unless I get a title shot. So here we are, AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, this is going to be a trivia question like 10 years from now. Who's the first ever husband and wife to win both their matches and have titles on the same PLE, right?
So are you waiting with that picture after the show? CM Punk and AJ Lee with the titles, Triple H in the middle.
Yeah, at that point, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm sure the Chicago fans are going to go buck wild for AJ Lee, and I wouldn't be surprised if she wins the title. I hope she doesn't, but it's looking like it's going to happen. Husband and wife are going to dominate the chamber in Chicago.
Who would have thought in 2011-12 this would be the case? 2014, CM Punk and AJ Lee running the show.
Only Vince McMahon sent "you're fired" letters to CM Punk on his wedding day,
and now they're just champions walking into WrestleMania. I said this to you yesterday, and I mean, there's multiple ways this can go, right? Like Becky and AJ can wrestle, and it could be like a DQ non-finish situation, some sort of thing where like Becky gets herself counted out or DQ'd. It could go a lot of different ways. But the thing I said to you is, I'm like, it's very interesting that they are doing Becky and AJ, because everyone thought that was the WrestleMania match, and it still might be the WrestleMania match, but I'm just like, they're doing it at Chamber first. Like, they're just going into it right away. And then last night, during Maxine and Natty, we saw AJ come out there and save Maxine from Natty, who just didn't even wrestle her, just attacked the crap out of her and put her on a sharpshooter on the announce table. I had no idea
those two had a relationship, Maxine and AJ.
Well, that's the thing too, and even in the opening promo, like AJ's like, "Oh, I was only here to support Maxine. Like, I would have even sat in catering, and like I was just gonna watch a match and whatnot." But then what we saw happen was Maxine and Natty had their match. Maxine was put in the sharpshooter. AJ came out for the save. Becky Lynch came out and attacked AJ Lee as she was walking Maxine out in this new friendship that we've learned about.
Yeah.
And my whole argument to you, like a couple of weeks ago, for the loyal viewers of this show who watch the clips, is that I thought the Intercontinental title feud going into WrestleMania should have been Natty and Maxine, because neither AJ or Becky Lynch need to have a title in the picture to make their matches meaningful. Like really, AJ Lee and Becky Lynch sells itself. Do you hypothetically, and I pitched this to you last night on the phone, I'm like, if they're going to do Becky and AJ at Elimination Chamber in a singles match for the title, because it's in Chicago, it's where AJ now lives with I was going to say Phil, with CM Punk, and because they know that's where they're going to get the crazy reaction, the Chicago crowds will be behind their hometown girl. And do you see WrestleMania end up being a fatal four-way between Maxine, Natty, Becky, and AJ for the Intercontinental title? If they're already doing AJ and Becky at Elimination Chamber, I think that's okay. What about you?
Well, it seems like it's going that way. I hope it's not a tag team match. I don't want to see a 2-on-2 WrestleMania tag team match with AJ.
That could happen too. That could happen too.
It could, but I really, really hope, just for our sake, because we're going to be there, I would rather see a Fatal 4 ladder match for the Intercontinental title match.
Okay, throw in a ladder. I just like straight Fatal 4-way match.
I want a ladder match. I see a ladder match. Because AJ is small enough to climb, Maxine is small enough to climb, and I think
no, you're right. But I'm gonna go with whatever producers that said, she told us last week that there were rumors about the women's tag team titles being a ladder match. I'm kind of more down for that.
Oh yeah, we talked about that too, right? So
yeah. Okay, fine. But I think a
Fatal 4 cage match.
Yeah,
that's what I hope.
Fatal 4-way, no. I mean, Fatal 4-ways are technically already like no DQ because there's 4 of them. I think.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, you're right. It is. It's leaning towards the Fatal 4, but now because people hate Triple H so much and he's such a bad booker, I'm thinking it's probably gonna be a tag match. It's gonna be AJ and Maxine versus Natty, not Natalia, Natty and Becky.
Which honestly wouldn't be surprising that the Intercontinental title, the U.S. Women's title, won't be defended on WrestleMania. But I do want to see it defended now. And I'm okay with Natty walking out with the belt that way. And then Becky and AJ don't even get pinned. I'm okay with Maxine winning it back. Like, those things you can get away with when it's a Fatal 4-way. Where you can still protect AJ, you can still protect Becky. And AJ said it last night, she hasn't had a singles match in like so long, like 10 years, 11 years or something. Which is fine. She's going to have an Elimination Chamber, but maybe she likes these multi-people matches.
A lot of the male or female superstars, like again, the veterans have been there for a while. I don't think they care too much about, doing the big match at Mania or Survivor Series or whatnot. I think they're okay just doing it in their hometown or whatever has some sentimental value to them. So Chicago is their place. So I think she'd rather do it in Chicago in an intimate crowd, whatever, 90,000 fans compared to a stadium where not everyone might be cheering for her to get that moment.
Yeah. Once again, they could do some sort of non-finish at Chamber, that they have a rematch at WrestleMania. But I think the Fatal 4-way is a great idea. And I stand with that. Because I think Maxine and Natty have their thing going on. They were just in the IC title picture. Just put it all together. But to your point about them being in a hometown crowd and Elimination Chamber, let's go back to the whole booking philosophy thing with Triple H and Vince before we wrap up. Triple H, love him or hate him, has done a really good job making. Vince did a great job with this when there was 4 pay-per-views before they were in your houses and stuff. But Triple H does do a really good job. And there's been some busts. There's been some like blah ones. WrestlePalooza is one of those that some people might write off. But he's done a really good job of trying to make every pay-per-view feel important. Does that make sense?
He does, because he starts off every pay-per-view. This is going to be the biggest pay-per-view of all time, or PLE of all time, right? Whatever it's called.
This is just what we do. It's part of the magic.
So, I think someone clipped him saying that about every PLE before it starts. But watch out for surprises. There's some big surprises happening, right? So, but no, you're right though. He does do a really good job of really hyping every PLE that comes up.
So it's a PLE now. My bad, not pay-per-view.
Not pay-per-view, right? I'm trying to be correct here. So, he does a really good job, and I look forward to it. Like even Chamber, I'm gonna say, before, maybe, I don't know, even 3-4 years ago, I would tune into Chamber like, man, I don't care. It means that it does absolutely nothing for Mania, because you kind of already have a feeling what Mania is going to be. You're like, yeah, they're just trying to get the filler matches in, and this is just a filler PLE.
And it felt like that in previous years back in the day.
But not
Chamber just to find out the #1 contender matches, but you might not remember any of the matches on the card outside of the Chamber matches,
Yeah, but now I'm looking forward to it. I mean, because he's doing, again, I think he's doing a good job.
And that's my point of like, I now understand, like, you know, like in my mind, that would have been like, you should have saved Becky and AJ for WrestleMania if you asked me like 6 months ago. But I'm like, no, he's doing a thing where he's like, let's try to make every pay-per-view feel like a big
we
show.
don't know this either. What if now, you know, AJ and CM Punk also went to Triple H, Phil, right? No, Paul.
Yeah.
His name is Paul, right? And asked him, hey, we would love a match in our hometown, both of us. So how do you not honor that either, right? The guys that have been paying the bills, drawing the money for you too.
AJ, maybe they thought about it, but I know the moment they book Chicago, they're like, we need Punk on the show.
Yeah, definitely. So
they're like, how do we incorporate Punk on the Chicago show?
Yeah, and that's a lot of the stuff that
crowd, no matter what, is like, that is their hometown man. Like, he's what Bret Hart is in Canada, Punk is to Chicago.
Yeah, you need him. You do. You need Punk. We knew right away when it got booked in Chicago, we're like, CM Punk's going to be in the main event, right?
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. And that stuff, again, a lot of the hardcore wrestling fans online that don't see, you know, some people have personal relationships. Like, he could have gone up to Triple H and been like, hey man, like, I would love a match in my hometown. And then sometimes you do got to go a different direction because you want to honor the guys that have been honoring you, right? Respecting
and I said that at the very beginning, I think what Triple H is a little bit different than Vince in this case. Vince would listen to his top stars for sure, and Vince would take pitches from everybody else for sure. I think Triple H does listen to the talent just a little bit more. Like, he'll take the suggestions no matter where you are in the card with a little bit more, we'll think about it, you know? I'm not saying he does every single thing. He's not like Tony Khan, like you have full freedom to like really convince him to do what you want to do. It's more so like, you know, like maybe it was Becky's idea to put over Maxine for a couple of months, right? Like maybe, you know, like he's very like with the wrestlers because he's been one of the boys being like, what do you guys want to do? And I feel like that must happen a lot. Let's wrap things up, but I have to ask you, since we talked about it quite a bit, what is one thing you miss about Vince's booking specifically?
The wild storylines. I know a lot of the stuff got very repetitive on Raw and SmackDown, but there'd always be that one crazy storyline, like I said, internal affair, husband and wife cheating on each other.
Katie Vick.
Yeah, backstage secret camera spying on wrestlers, and then nothing comes out of it, right? Just the storylines were a little bit more theatrical, a little bit more Hollywood, I guess. Like he sometimes would have segments that were like movie-like, and I missed that. Where Triple H is more realistic, more edgier, more, you know, like that stuff kind of happened. Like Vince probably would have brought out like a superhero right now, like, you know, wearing a cape and like flying around. So I'd be down with that.
Yeah, Nikki Ash. Do you remember? Have you ever seen that clip I posted a ton of times back in the day? I think it was from Beyond the Mat, where Vince is like basically eating water, like he took a sip of water, but he's like chewing it, and he goes, "We make movies, pal." Yeah, we don't do wrestling. We make movies.
And I think again, what I'm trying to sum up is Vince truthfully provided us entertainment.
Yeah, well, listen.
That's what I missed. The actual entertainment.
I will never discredit Vince's booking, say it fully sucked, because a lot of our favorite superstars came from the Macho Man, Stone Colds, The Rocks, Bret Hart. All these were Vince McMahon era, Shawn Michaels. You know, these are Razor Ramon. These are all Vince McMahon creations.
Going to Clown, the Bushwhackers.
Things that we loved. And then also, like, I am a wrestling fan because of the WWE and WCW. And everybody that knows me knows that those are the two things I grew up on. And one part of that was Vince and Vince's booking and watching my brother's old 80s tapes and whatnot. So I'll always say Vince is 100% one of the greatest bookers and promoters of all time.
Yeah.
You cannot deny that. Like, first ballot, just some questionable
first
shit.
Tough, man. Bill Belichick didn't even get onto first ballot.
But I'm just saying some questionable booking choices in the
it's
later
gonna
years.
happen when you
Vince McMahon versus God. Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon versus Shawn Michaels and God.
Okay, watch this though.
Katie Vick.
When Vince McMahon was
blowing himself up in a limousine.
When Vince McMahon was fighting God, guess what? I was so intrigued to find out who God was. Well, what is God going to look like? What this character is going to be? It was the best thing ever, right?
Like a lot of great stuff, but once again, like I said, 20 years down the road, we can really judge Triple H's booking because Vince has like 20, 30 years on him. And when you book for a certain long period of time and you have different writers coming in and out and you change your booking philosophy to time over time, you see changes, you see things. Because we can't fully blame Vince. He had writers that pitched him ideas that he liked that probably weren't the best ideas. So it's like, it's too early to tell, but I do miss the shock factor of Vince McMahon, the
How long did
randomness.
How long did Vince book for?
I want to say, I guess he got the company from his father, I believe, in 1982 or 1983.
Yeah, so over 30, 40 years.
Till 2022.
Yeah,
and
that's a
everything
long
was
time.
everything was pretty solid. I would say 95 was a bad year for sure, but everything was pretty solid till like, I want to say till like the 2010s when things started getting really questionable. Like, you know?
So the guy was around for so long. Like, not everything was gonna be.
But even the 2010s, Bryan Danielson, The Shield, a lot of good things came out of that era too that we really love and appreciate. Eat, Sleep, Suplex, Repeat is something everybody will remember. Like,
the
so,
Wyatt
like,
family
you know.
came out of Vince.
Yeah, well, yeah, a little bit of Triple H and NXT, but yeah, that's that for this week's episode of Bell to Bell. Though, guys, make sure you guys check out jackpotcity.ca, play some slots, free spins, big wins, just as much chaos as you're gonna get in the WWE ring. And yeah, make sure you follow Ring City Toys, follow me at The Wrestling Passive, subscribe to us on YouTube. Well, I think 79,000 subscribers now, so appreciate that.
80,
subscribe to Bell to Bell. Get us up there on Bell to Bell's channel too. Get that up to 1,000, 2,000. If you follow me on the Wrestling Classic, make sure you go follow Bell to Bell. And we'll catch up with you guys next week. We'll see who qualifies for Elimination Chamber matches. We'll see if WrestleMania comes more together in the coming Raw and SmackDown. And we'll see you guys at Chamber. And we are here with none other than TNA's very own AJ Francis. I have 3 shows. You've now officially been on all 3. How are we doing today?
Yeah. That means you have good taste.
Yeah, this guy's hit the hat. The first one to do it, all 3 shows.
Exactly, man.
How are we doing today? Welcome to Bell to Bell. What's
good,
going on?
brother. I'm good, man. You know, just enjoying this, time off before TNA this weekend. I was at the Super Bowl last week. I'm doing media and stuff. I'm a media mogul. So
we know that you're doing everything all the time. You're everywhere. We talk about that all the time. I want to ask you about the Super Bowl before we talk about wrestling, though. You were part of the Seahawks franchise for part of your NFL career. How do you feel about the Seahawks winning? As a Pacific Northwest person, I love it. But how do you feel about the Seahawks winning?
I love it, man. It's great. It's great because it's real team ball. Sam Darnold played great all season, but that defense was really special. And Sam, I'm happy for Sam because, I feel a lot like Sam Darnold in a way. Like when I first, started wrestling, I did the TV show and it kind of made me look like a first-round draft pick, and then ended up nobody wanted me and, bouncing around different teams, and then finally finding a home and people being like, wait, this guy's really great, so it feels good to, be part of the 12s and see their success. And, now I can just wear all my Seahawk gear, lime green, unapologetically.
Do you rub it in Moose's face a bit? Because I saw the graphics of you versus Moose. Moose was the Patriots.
Nah, Moose don't care, man. Moose don't care about football. Moose probably didn't even watch the game, man.
How was media? How was the whole experience? So you running some old friends, you're doing the thing. Obviously,
it was so much fun because you never really know the impact you have on people, right? So, like, I played with Trent Williams, greatest old lineman of all time, in my opinion. I played, with Kirk Cousins. I played with so many great people. I played with, Cam Chancellor and Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman and all these guys. And a lot of those guys I played with for like a couple months. Like everybody, I was on Seattle for basically 3 months. It was the last 3 months of the season, but I was on Seattle for basically 3 months. And these guys played careers for 15, years. So like three months out of 15 years is not a lot of time. So, in my mind, I'm like, do they even remember me? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel. But then I go to these NFLPA events I went to the NFLPA VIP party, and I'm like across the room, and Trent Williams is like, Frank. I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? So like, it's like the impact you have on people, and like the stories people tell, and the crazy part is, like, they might not be wrestling fans, but they follow me in wrestling because they'll ask me questions about, yo, so I saw you doing WrestleMania. Hey, you did that moonsault off the ladder, or, you know, like, oh man, that match you had, I saw the highlights of it, that was great. And I'm like, damn, y'all really actually tuned into what I'm doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool for me.
Is it so insane? Because you know, I talk about it in wrestling too. It's like when you're sharing a locker room with someone, or you're like seeing each other every week. There's that camaraderie, and then you know, it's like high school, kind of like you leave, you graduate, you kind of drift. But then when you see each other, it's always the same, and that camaraderie just comes right. You think something happened, but never mind, we're good. It's just everyone's busy doing their thing, but it's cool seeing your peers and your friends like that.
You might be the first person I ever heard actually pronounce camaraderie the correct way.
Oh, there you go. So it happens when you read books. You speak for a living. Let me ask you this then about the media stuff as well with in terms of NFL. Is there a part of you that sees a future in that too? Like maybe doing stuff and where you're fully just doing media coverage for the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I was already doing that before I started wrestling. I mean, I've done it since I've been wrestling. I've been on a bunch of different shows doing analyst work. For me though, it's you know, I love wrestling, and as long as I'm physically able to, I'm going to.
Yeah.
Wrestling is the perfect blend of all the things that I'm good at, and that's why I love it so much.
These guys, before we get into the main wrestling topics, I do want to ask you about wrestling. I got a lot of things I want you to be able to get some stuff off your chest. But first things first, what are your thoughts on Cam Scadaboo?
The man's insane. I mean, he's never seen a drywall he couldn't run through. So I don't know. I mean, I hope he comes back healthy. You know, there's a lot. I saw him at Media Row. Him and Jackson Dart were like eating wings at like this thing that Bounty sets up, like the wing. It was like Bounty, the paper towel company, does like free wings or something at Media Row, and like I saw them over there. I didn't really see what they were doing, but yeah, he's a crazy man, and you know, I hope he you know comes back and he's healthy, and next year he's able to actually, you know, have a full season and see what he can really do.
Yeah. Let's talk about some wrestling. And the wings thing is kind of funny that Bounty is doing, because they pretty much tell you get your hands dirty, use some Bounty.
Literally.
It's
pretty good marketing. Pretty good
marketing. Let's talk about some TNA right now. TNA has officially made its debut on AMC. It's been on there now for like 4 to 5 weeks. I've been tuning in every week since it's been on AMC. Obviously here in Canada, we watch it on Sportsnet though, which is also cool that it's on Sportsnet. But how do you feel about the move of TNA to AMC?
I mean, it's been great for everybody. I think I was all excited because my main event 2 weeks ago was like the most watched show in 5 years, and then this week's show did even better. So we're trending in the right way. You know, it's a great time to be in TNA. A lot of eyes on us. A lot of opportunities going to be coming down the lane because of that. And you know, I'm so excited for the opportunity to like prove who we are as a company. Because for a long time we put on a good product, but not everybody could see it. And now a lot of people can have an opportunity to see it. And it shows how good we are every time we go out and show out. And then, you know, like, not to toot my own horn, but to toot that mug, you know, we had a Genesis pay-per-view, and I open up the show and steal the show. Then me and Rich Swann have a rematch in the main event on Impact, and it's, you know, people say it's one of the best Impact main events in years. So like, I've also, with this new year 2026, went out and tried to prove that I'm exactly who I say I am, and I do it every time.
Yeah, the matches with Rich Swann were great. The street fight was awesome. It was one of the best matches I've seen in TNA in years. Fully invested, like I said. I've been on it every week now since it's hit AMC. And like, is this the end of First Class for good? Is there any rebuilding? Are we getting a new crew? Is this what it is? No more VIP lounges?
I might be in my Triple H era. You know,
Yeah.
you know, when Triple H was in was in DX with Shawn Michaels, and then Shawn Michaels had to leave, you know, and he built a brand new DX. I think I might be in my Triple H era, you know. So I think that's what's next for me, you know, building a new crew around me, but at the same time, like, quite frankly, I don't really need nobody else.
Yeah, I
you know
don't think you
like,
need a crew, but I'm gonna miss it a little bit. You guys, some fun segments, some cool little parties going on. You know, it's like, I guess I'll say, I got maybe Rich wasn't the guy, and you know, Casey kind of dropped the ball, but
Casey definitely dropped the ball, and I'm sure his little pink self will be back soon. So, you know, we always got stories there too. You know.
Yeah, you know what we never really officially saw, and I'm not sure if you are going to rebuild First Class, was a woman in the group officially.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pitching for a woman to join First Class for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many women on our roster that are so talented, and you know, obviously, they're much better to look at than I am. So. You know, it always helps to have when I used to have Hit Row, there was a reason B-Fab used to lead us out to the ring every single time, because you'd rather look at her than look at us. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I would love to have a girl in First Class, and I've been trying to do that for a long time, so hopefully we can get it done.
Did you have anyone that you kind of pitched or you suggested that you thought would have been a good fit?
I pitched Jada Stone, I pitched Mina Grace, before even the Ali thing, I pitched Tasha Steeles before she was in Order 4. You know, so I've been trying to get a girl in, you know, I pitched Mila Moore, you know, now she's with Tessa, you know, so like I've pitched a lot. I mean, I pitched Alicia Fox. So yeah, I pitched a bunch. So it all comes down to timing at the end of the day.
Of course. Speaking about timing, right now the roster is incredibly stacked up. You know, it's not a huge roster for TNA, but you look at it like, oh, there's a lot of solid names on here, a lot of top stars. Where do you feel like, how do you feel about your position in the company right now? And where do you want to see yourself go?
I mean, I'm the best heel in the business. I've been saying I'm the best heel in the business, the best big man in the business with the best chokeslam in the business. I've been saying that for years. And people are finally starting to realize I'm not just talking. You know, like, I back up everything I say. Every match that I'm put in is a banger. Me versus Rich Swann, me versus BDE, me versus Leon Slater, me versus BDE the other 2 times, me versus Nick Nemeth, me versus PCO, me versus Moose. You know what I'm saying? The Cardio Shot Gauntlet Battle Royal, I was in for 4 minutes, and it was an incredible 4 minutes. And I was one of 8 people in the Slammiversary ladder match, and I steal the show with a moonsault off the ladder. Like, you know, I'm always going to prove exactly who I am. I say it all the time. I'm exactly who I say I am, and people are finally starting to realize that. And so, you know, I think like it's so funny to me because if you rewind 3 years from now, and you told everyone on the internet that I would be a legitimate world title contender, that they would like literally, they would say that it was impossible that could happen. And I've proven over the last 2+ years in TNA that I am the best big man in the business, the best heel in the business. And the thing is, yesterday I did Busted Open Radio, and Tommy Dreamer asked me, why do people hate you so much? And I was like, they hate me because I'm confident in my abilities, and they're not. Like, they lack confidence, so they want to project their lack of confidence on me. But I have no reason to not be confident. I got how many other people on Earth, have played college football, played in the NFL, wrestled for WWE, wrestled for TNA, have 4 albums, been on tour for wrestling and for making music, have a master's degree. Like, what do I have to be not confident about? Like,
yeah.
Well, like what Deion Sanders say, your perception of me is not my perception of me. You know? So it's like, I'm fully confident in everything I do. And that's why I kind of, you know, rubs people the wrong way, because they're not.
Yeah. And honestly, if you look at the title picture right now, like I'm very happy for Mike Santana. I'm glad he's in that spot. But then you look at the people coming after the title, and it's like Eddie Edwards, and it's Nick Nemeth, and it's Frankie Kazarian. It's like, we could freshen things up here with someone that hasn't been here for like 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They say wrestling's a young man's game. I mean, come on, man. I'm 35, and I'd be the youngest heel in the title picture. So I'm just
like, no disrespect to any of those guys. I'm a fan of all of them, but they've all been guys that have either been in wrestling or in TNA alone for like a long
Eddie
period
Edwards,
of time.
love Nick Nemeth, you know, love Frankie Kazarian, love Mustafa Ali, love them all.
Yeah.
I mean, shouldn't we? I thought this was supposed to let the young guys run. I'm younger than all of them. You know, I'm the young guy. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get a young guy up there. What are we doing?
Yeah, you know, Javon Evans getting this push. I'm only 14 years older than Javon Evans.
Like,
you know?
I swear, BDE gets a title shot before you.
I've already got the title shot. He's gonna get a title shot before me. I just know how this. I know how this business works. But you know, I'm gonna get a title before he does. How
impressed are you with BDE? Because obviously part of him coming in was kind of doing stuff with you, and you've beat him up multiple times since. But you know, is there any part of you that's a little bit impressed with his progress? Like, he has kind of overcome the YouTuber to wrestler stigma, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, true story. Like, I was Brandon's first match ever. So, that was last January, so it's a little over a year ago was his first match. And the funny thing is, like, I trained with him like 6 months before that and was like, yo, I'm going to talk to Sam, because Sammy Callahan books Revolver, and that's where we had our first few matches. And I was like, yo, I'm going to talk to Sammy. I'm going to make him book me versus you. And he was like, I don't know if I'm ready. I was like, bro, I just trained with you. I was like, this is just me and my arrogance. I was like, yo, as long as you know 4 or 5 moves, I'll be able to get a good match on you. And if you go back and watch Brandon's match, which has over, I think, 400,000 views on his YouTube page, if you go watch that match, you would never be able to tell that it's his first match, because A, he's talented, B, he listens, and C, I'm that damn good. Right? Yeah. So, you know, that's why me and him wrestled 5 more times over the next year, the last of which being on a pay-per-view on TNA. And when we had the pay-per-view on TNA, they were like, literally, Sam was like, they want you guys to do a condensed version of what you've done over the past year in this match. And I said, no problem. So if you go back and watch the match of me and Brandon on TNA, I think the pay-per-view was Unbreakable. If you go back and watch that match, and just watch that match, and then go watch the 3 other singles matches we had over the last year, all in Revolver. If you go watch them, you'll see, or not the 2 other singles matches we had in Revolver, you'll see it's like Cliff Notes version of those 2 matches, right? Yeah. So like that's the thing. The best thing about this business is that, like, I feel like that's kind of like the old days when the guys would do a match 100 times in house shows before they do the big show at the main event of a pay-per-view. So that's what it kind of felt like, and because of that, it flowed smooth and it went so well.
Y'all got your reps and that you guys understood each other. Joe Hendry is the current NXT champion, and he was a former TNA champion. And this might be a personal bias, but I feel like his best feud since has still been the one with you. I haven't seen anything.
Of course it is.
Hit that level. How do you feel about the rise of Joe Hendry and like the fact that
Joe is a good guy. Joe is a genuinely good person. So I am very happy for his success. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. He's also very welcome that I made him a star. He knows that his life changed with our feud. Yeah. And he has bought me a steak dinner because of it. So, you know, I'm very happy for him. It's just more proof of, like, I mean, I do the same thing with BDE that I did with Joe Hendry. Like, that's what I do. I'm so good at making people hate me that they absolutely love the other person. And it's funny how, because I'm me and people hate me, it's always, wow, this person fighting AJ is so good.
The best thing you said to me, I think, was on Casual Conversations. You're like, he had that song for 10 years before he featured me.
He had that song 10 years. He did music videos, parody videos, making fun of people for 5 years before he wrestled me. But he did 4 months feud with me, and then he was everywhere. The biggest moment of his career was singing that song. Obviously, before winning the NXT title, was singing that song, and the song is about me getting fired. And you know what I'm saying? So like that's how this rocket took off, and he knows that, and that's why he always, you know, he stays in character, but he always makes sure to point out the fact that I'm very good. And Joe Hendry will tell you himself, there's nobody else he would rather work with on earth than me.
Last couple of things before we wrap it up. TNA is obviously growing each and every month. Obviously, the move to AMC is a big deal. You guys are hitting New Orleans and Atlanta next month. A bunch of shows coming up, so make sure you guys check out TNAWrestling.com for tickets. Why should, if you could like, sell it to the people right now, like why is it right now a great time to tune in TNA? What would you tell the people?
I would say because we got the best roster, I think, top to bottom, in the world. I mean, like, Rich Swann is one of the best wrestlers on earth, and his match with me, you know, reminded people of that. But you know, he is not even near the top of the card. You know, we got guys like BDE who've never, you know, been a champion in a major promotion. And you know, really, he's only been wrestling for a year. But, you know, he's putting on great matches with myself and Nick Nemeth, and I think he's got another one coming up with Eric Young. So there's just a lot going on that you need to tune in for. And most importantly, you need to turn into TNAJ Francis on AJMC.
Yeah, there you go. One last thing, one goal for the next year. What is one thing you want to accomplish in 2026?
I want to hold championship gold and dominate. I want to put on defense after defense after defense, because I've shown that I can put on match of the year candidates and lose over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, we've proven that point time and time again. It's time for me to actually start winning matches because I can physically beat people to a bloody pulp with my bare hands.
Yeah, I think this is the year. I think this is the year of AJ Francis. Let's make the people mad, because in the words of Tommy Dreamer, why does everybody hate you? So we'll see what happens. Hopefully 2026 year. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you being on Bell to Bell. We'll definitely chat again soon. I'm pretty sure I'll see you in Vegas. We'll probably catch up over there. And I'll talk to you down the road. Anything you want to add before we wrap things up here?
Nah, you can follow me on all social media at AJ Francis 410. And if you play Arc Raiders, give me some goop. Give me some goop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, bro. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.